So we'll just take a couple of minutes just with some breath awareness. I think, Victoria, you will already be feeling your body, so to speak. You'll know where you're feeling stiffness or movement, but for the rest of us, if we start seated, and we can close our eyes if it feels safe to do so, or if that's a comfortable thing for you to do without falling asleep. And just allow the breath to be. It doesn't need to be controlled. It doesn't need to be forced. Just taking a few moments in a nice comfortable seat. Morning, Joanna. And then as you're here, just getting a feeling for the whole of the body. So just making sure that you're seated comfortably in your sit bones, nice and long through the spine towards the crown of the head. Maybe starting to work into the rhythm of your breath. So that could be Ujjayi breathing, breathing with sound. But just working to build an equal in-breath and an equal out-breath. Breath with sound can be nice in your practice because it gives you a guide or a rhythm to follow. And then taking a couple more breaths. And then working to open the eyes if you had them closed. And then just reaching your hands up overhead. You can be quite relaxed in the arms, elbows can be out a little. Maybe just reaching with the fingers, looking up towards the sky, or maybe just above the horizon. And we're going to work into the neck a little bit first. So as you breathe out, reach the hands away, stretching like a big yawn. Oh, taking the fingertips, if you can, all the way to the floor. So that your fingertips are kind of, so your fingers are clawed, I guess. Was that an actual yawn there, Stephen, that I got out of you? And then sit up nice and tall. Feel the kind of shoulders pull down the back a little. And you're going to let your head fall. I'll mirror you for this. So it's going to fall a little bit towards the right. So you start to feel a stretch through the left. And then maybe taking that right hand and just leaning it on top of the head. So don't pull the head. Just allow the weight of the hand to be there. And as you stretch away with the left fingers, you start to feel a pull maybe. Just gentle, all the way down from the neck through the shoulder, kind of round the shoulder blade at the back, scapula, and maybe down towards the fingers. We'll just hold here. So the hand is kind of just an added weight without it being pulled. It's almost an encouragement for the head just to move a little bit more. And then taking the hand off, taking it back to the floor. Lifting the neck up, coming back to center. And then letting it fall to the other side, feeling that pull maybe down the right side of the neck all the way down to the hand or the fingers in the floor. And then maybe taking the left hand up onto the side again, just allowing the weight, trying to keep a little bit of space between the shoulder and the neck of that left arm or left side. And just noticing that when you sit still, sometimes your body will soften just a little with the breath. And then again, taking the hand off, taking it back to the floor, taking the head and the neck back to center. We're going to take our fingers kind of to the back of the head, at the top of the spine where it kind of meets the skull and the neck. Your thumbs can just kind of hang down or just cup underneath, and just lean back ever so slightly, just a little. Your elbows can be nice and soft. You're kind of holding your head like a hammock, maybe looking just above the horizon. You don't need to be looking up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, you're going to curl the stomach in and push around into the spine. So you kind of curl down, squeeze the elbows in, but don't pull the hands on the head. Leave them just as a weight. Make the movement come from the stomach, pulling in, the spine pushing away, and the shoulders rounding, so that you feel like you're kind of doing a cow or a cat pose, I should say, but seated. Breathing in, open through the chest, allow the elbows to open, take a little bit of the weight of your head into the hands. You might find the lower back and the tailbone stick out a little. Breathing out, curling in. Try to let the hands on the head just be a weight, so that you move with the elbows. As you breathe in, the elbows expand, the chest opens. There's a curve in the spine, like a back bend. Breathing out, there's a rounding of the spine as the stomach pulls in, the shoulders come round, the elbows squeeze in, but we don't pull on the head. Breathing in, we open up. Breathing out, curling in. So trying to encourage the movement to come from the spine. The hands are there just to allow your head to hold onto. When you lean up, look up. And then just squeezing the elbows in, that sense of rounding as you breathe out. Maybe increasing the movement a little bit with each breath. Doing what feels good. We're kind of doing I guess what you would call the sun and the moon. Yin and yang. So as we open, we're opening out our heart space, reaching towards the sun. And as we breathe out, we pull the elbows in, we're kind of pulling in towards the moon. Just doing a few more. Just kind of pulling in with the stomach. Don't pull, Joanna, just because you've just joined. When we're kind of pulling round and down, don't pull on the neck or the head. Just allow the arms or hands to be a weight, so that the elbows move as you breathe in and open. You breathe out, curling in. Trying to allow the movement to come from the core and the spine. Kind of feeling of a seated cat-cow. We'll do one more moon, one more sun. Curling in. Breathing open. And then again, taking the hands out. Reaching them away with the fingers, taking them in front of the body, interlace the fingers, turn the palms, push them away. You can tuck the chin in, you can push the spine away if you wish, or you can just sit and round through the shoulders. Do what feels good for your body. Sometimes people like to make it really deep where they kind of almost pushing the spine backwards, curling into the body, but you don't need to. You could just round into the shoulders. So just making it a shoulder movement, straight back, rounding into the shoulders, opening into those lats, trapeze, rhomboids. I can't remember the other ones now. Rounding into the scapula. Take the fingers apart again, reaching them around. Keep the fingers nice and long. Take the hands behind the body, interlace the fingers. And I'll face the other way for this. Interlace the fingers. Sit up nice and tall. Try and squeeze the shoulders, the shoulder blades together. You'll notice I'm quite soft in my elbows. So I'm not locking my arms out and squeezing. I'm trying to open with the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together between the spine or either side of the spine. Softness in the elbows. My elbows are sticking out a little. I'm still pulling the fingers down towards the floor so that I'm more active in my upper body. Maybe a small curve in the lower spine towards the tailbone. Just holding here for 2 and 1. Letting the fingers come apart. Take the hands out in front. I'm going to stay facing this way so you can see what I'm doing. So I won't mirror you. I'll use my proper left and right. So take your left hand up towards the sky. Turn your right palm so that it's facing backwards, so that the front of the hand is facing forwards and the palm is facing back. Taking that hand to the lower part of the back. Maybe you can reach it a little higher, but you don't need to go any higher than just kind of the lower spine and have the palm facing away. Taking this top hand maybe to the back of the head, if it feels comfortable, maybe to around the kind of neck or in between the kind of shoulder blades. And just holding here. If this is in your practice to do it normally, you might interlace the fingers and pull open for cow face, but you don't need to. What we want to concentrate on here is pulling the left elbow back, pulling the right elbow back so that you open through the front of your body. If you can, look towards the horizon. Don't be curled in. Try and have a straight back, maybe even a slight bend in the back. At the most. It's more important, or it's more advisable to be trying to open with the shoulder blades as if they're pulling backwards. So the chest and the heart space is open. Working into those triceps and shoulders. Holding here, remember your hand can be up here. It doesn't need to be reaching down. That can get quite tight in the tricep. For 2 and 1, reaching the left hand up, taking it out to the side. Opening with the right, turning the palm to face forwards. I'm going to swap over, take the right hand up, maybe bringing it to the top of the head, back of the neck, in between the shoulder blades. Left palms turn to face the back, taking that hand to the lower spine again. Try to open through the elbows, so I'll turn to face here. We're sitting up tall, opening or kind of pulling the elbows, both of the elbows back. We want to feel our heart space, our chest open. Breathing here. Don't worry if you are curled in slightly. It takes a lot. It takes opening in the chest. It takes compression in the back of the body. But just working to kind of work those elbows backwards can help. For 3, 2 and 1 again, making that top hand up and out, opening the front one out, taking the hands back in front, interlace those fingers. Last movement, turn the palms away. Breathing in, reaching up overhead. Maybe looking up towards the fingers if you wish, if it's comfortable. As you breathe out, round down, try and keep the hands straight, taking them down towards the floor. Breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, rounding down. Breathing in, reaching up. Rounding down. Breathing in, reaching up. And take the fingers apart, take them out to the side. Last thing, I promise. As you breathe out, round into the back, hug yourself. So take the hands and hug. Breathing in, open. Breathing out, hug, but take the opposite hand on top. Breathing in, open. Opposite hand. You can be more vocal if you want with your breath. Opening again. Last couple. Last one. Hugging in here. It'll be the nicest hug you get today. It's from yourself. Okay, from there, take the hands. You can move into the back a little. We're going to come to all fours. So if you're on a cushion or any blocks, just moving them to one side. Coming to tabletop. We're going to do a few rotations. A really nice way to move into the body. So take your bum and your hips back towards your heels a little. I'm going to come out to the left. So I'm going to take my body to the left. I'm going to take a little bit of weight over the wrists, round towards the right. So you're doing a circular rotation. You can be quite animalistic with this. Move as your body wants. So if you're feeling tight anywhere, then you could maybe slow the movement down there. Or if you're feeling really open, you might undulate through the spine. So kind of circulating. As you do a circle or a rotation, you kind of push the ribs out to either side so that you stretch into those intercostal muscles. You could tuck the chin into the chest, which changes the shape of the shoulder and the back. Or you could look towards the horizon, which again changes the shape in the shoulder and the back in a different way. You could connect it with your breath, so breathing in for one direction, breathing out for the other. Just do what feels good. And when you're ready, take it in the opposite direction. I sometimes close my eyes when I do this, just to kind of, where am I feeling this? Where do I need to work into? Where feels nice and open? What's my practice going to be like this morning? So if we can be aware of our bodies, be aware of how we feel, then we can work into those areas, or we can be aware of where we need to put extra work or take our time. So just continuing this for 2 and 1, coming back to neutral, just adjusting if you need to. We're going to come to our first down dog of the practice before we come to the top and do a few salutations. So I like to take my hands out just a little further in front, tuck into the toes, push down into the mat, hover the knees off the floor for bear pose. So really feel the foundation of your fingers first, pushing into the toes, then lifting the hips up, rolling over on the balls of the feet, then start to walk the dog. This might be your first down dog of the day. Stretching maybe through the soles of the feet as you come up onto the ball of one foot, down into the heel of the other, bending into the knee. If you've already done a bit of movement and you feel quite open, you can be, again, animalistic here. Do what feels good for you. I like to do a walk the dog at the start of a practice, especially my own practice, because I can get really tight through the back of the knees The last couple of days I've spent a lot of time on a computer trying to do all my admin, my least favourite part of working for myself. So just working here to bring your attention to the back of the legs, working to create a little bit of length, a little bit of warmth as well for the muscles, for the yang tissues. Remember to stay strong in your foundation. We'll just do this for another 3, 2, and 1. Bringing yourself towards a static downward facing dog. So spread through the toes and the fingers, long through the arms and the spine. Maybe pull the belly button in. Remember, you can soften into the knees, push the hips up, stretching and holding here. If it's uncomfortable in your shoulders or your arms, you can always come to child's pose for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. We're going to soften into the knees and we're going to slowly start to walk our feet up towards our hands. So bend into the knees, take lots of little steps, take as long as you need to. See how far you can get before your hands maybe need to lift off or you really need to bend into the knees. Once your feet are roughly in between your hands, take a half lift. So breathing in, straightening through the legs and the back. Breathing out, we're going to fold or hang out here in Uttasana, forward fold. So I like to soften into my knees to begin with. Hold on to the elbows. Let my head hang heavy in between my biceps. Try and feel contact with the floor through the big toe, the wee toe, and the heels. Bringing the attention through the back of the legs, where the hamstring meets the glutes. Sometimes if you do a lot of yoga, it can be a little bit tight first thing in the morning across that bone. Or the hip and the bottom of the pelvis, I should say. Or the iliac joint. And we're just hanging out here, so you can pull the belly button in a little, which encourages the psoas muscle to allow you to fold a little deeper. Might be a bit wobbly, it's first thing in the morning. My belly's resting on my thighs. We'll just slowly uncurl from here. So let the hands come to the floor. Push down into the toes, maybe straightening through the feet just to begin with. Then starting to kind of uncurl through the spine. So there's a real rounding into my back. My head and shoulders are heavy. I'm taking my time coming up. Even as I straighten through the spine, it's still taking my time, allowing the upper body. Coming up to the top. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears. Down through the back with your palms maybe facing forwards. Breathing here just for a moment, allowing the light to filter back in as well. So we're going to go through some sun salutations this morning. So we're going to go through 2 sun salutations A and 1 sun salutation B as our warm-up. So we can take them nice and slow. We're out of the kind of peak summer, working towards late summer if you're a seasonal yoga practice or practitioner. So breathing in, reaching the hands up towards the sky. We can make this quite relaxed. Pull the belly button in, slowly forward fold. If it's in your practice here, you could have straight legs for Uttasana. Breathing in for a half lift. Breathing out, step or jump your way back to plank. So maybe taking one foot, then the other. You can come down onto your knees for the first one, lowering the chest to the floor. Pushing into the hands, pushing all the way through to upward facing dog. Rolling over on your toes to downward facing dog. holding your downward facing dog for 5. 4, again, you can bend into the knees, pull the belly in, push the hips away. 3, maybe the chest is falling towards the floor and pushing back towards the legs. 2, and 1. Breathing in, step or jump your way back to the top of the mat. Once your feet are in between your hands, taking in a half lift here, breathing in. Breathing out, folding forwards, Uttasana. Breathing in, rising up to mountain pose, reaching the hands high. Nice and straight here as you breathe in, stretching up. Breathing out, pull the belly button in, folding forwards, bringing yourself back towards Uttasana, forward fold. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, step or jump your way back towards plank. Lowering down through Chaturanga. Breathing in as you come to upward facing dog. Breathing out as you roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Holding here again for 5. 4. 3, 2, and 1. Breathing, softening into the knees, step or jump your way back towards plank, as we say, towards the top of the mat. Once you're there, taking a half lift. Breathing out, folding forwards, Uttasana. Breathing in, rising all the way up to mountain pose, hands reaching up. Breathing out, hands down by your side. So we're going to do Sun Salutation B, which starts and ends in chair pose. And then we include a warrior 1, so working into the legs and the back a little bit. So chair pose, we'll hold each of the poses for 3 breaths. It gives everyone the opportunity to come into the pose and feel it. So chair pose, we sit into the heels a little, like we're about to sit in a chair. Feel the weight coming down towards the heels. Toes might be able to lift off the floor. Reach the hands out in front. Squeeze the thighs together. Pull the belly button in for another 2. And 1. As you next breathe out, you can fold forwards to Uttasana, forward fold. Breathing in for a half lift. Breathing out, step or jump your way back towards plank. Lowering down through Chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Rolling over on the toes to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, your left toes turn out to the left slightly and your right foot steps up in between your hands. Once you're there, we're going to lift to warrior 1. So push down into your foundation, rising up, reaching the hands up towards the sky, maybe squeezing the palms together for warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, for 2, and 1. As you breathe out, we're folding over the right foot, taking our hands to the floor. We're going to step that right foot back towards plank, lower down through Chaturanga. Push up through the hands, upward facing dog. Roll over on the toes, downward facing dog. The right toes turn out to the right slightly. The left foot steps up in between your hands. Pushing down into the foundation. Rising up to warrior 1. Sinking into the pose, reaching the fingers up towards the sky. For another 2. And 1, breathing out, folding over the left foot, hands come to the floor. Stepping that left foot back to plank. Lowering down through Chaturanga. Push up into the hands, upward facing dog. Rolling over on the toes. Or coming to child's pose for 5 breaths. Or down dog, sorry, for 5 breaths. 5. 4. So the sun salutations A and B are included at the start of every Ashtanga practice, and everything you need for a yoga practice is contained in these sun salutations, working to wake up the body, lengthen into the body, beginnings of the back bend, beginnings of hip opening. So they're really good, even if you just do sun salutations to warm up. And then from here, we're going to step back towards the top of the mat. So bending into the knees, breathing as we step forward. Taking a half lift once we're there, breathing in. Breathing out, folding forwards, Uttasana. Finishing in chair pose, so bending into the knees, taking the hips down. Feel the weight in the heels as you reach the hands for Utkatasana. For 3, 2, and 1. Coming to standing, Samastitihi. Okay, we're going to work through a little warrior 2 flow. I'm just going to move my mat slightly. I'm too close to the cabinet in front of my head. So we're going to work through a warrior 2 flow, working into reverse warrior and Parshvottanasana, so an extended side angle. And there'll be a couple of options for those of you who know the practice and maybe do this on more than one occasion. So otherwise, follow me or add on your extras if you know them. And I'll give you your cue. So we'll work our way down towards downward facing dog, where we'll then step to the top of the mat and lift up into warrior 2. So breathing in, reach the hands up towards the sky. Breathing out, maybe we feel length. We breathe out, fold forwards, Uttasana. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, step or jump our way back towards plank. Breathing out as we lower to the floor. Breathing in, upward facing dog. Breathing out, downward facing dog for 3 breaths. Holding here for 3, 2, and 1. Reaching the right leg out behind for 3-legged dog. Just reach the foot away, holding here. You can take it high or you can keep it low to the ground. Mine is just pointing away for 2 and 1. Squeeze that right knee in towards the belly of the chest. We're going to step it in between our hands at the top. So maybe arching into the back, stepping the foot down into the ground. Holding here in runner's lunge. Then looking back at that left foot, we're going to let the left heel fall to the right so that the foot is in line with the short edge of the mat, so that when we lift ourselves up, we're coming to warrior 2. Now, warrior 2, we're going to sink into that pose a little. So we're bending into this front knee, stretching through the underside, so into the hamstring in particular, pushing down towards the bottom pinky. So we're creating an arch in that left foot. If you can, look towards the middle finger of that front hand for 3, 2, and 1. Drop the back hand onto the back leg, reaching the front hand all the way up to the sky. Maybe looking up towards the fingers. 4th, reverse warrior for 3, 2, and 1. Taking the hands back towards your warrior 2. Parshvottanasana, extended side angle bend. I'm going to bend into my right elbow, take the right elbow to the right knee, reaching the top hand up and over for Parshvottanasana. If it's in your practice, yes, you can take that hand towards the floor, or you can just follow me. Really feel the strength in the legs, even if the elbow's touching into the knee. For 3, 2, and 1. See if you can use your leg strength to lift yourself back towards warrior 2. Let's ease some of the pressure on that front knee as we breathe in, straighten into the front leg, reach the hands up to the sky. As you breathe out, lowering back down, Breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, coming back down. Really work on breathing in, stretch or lengthening into the whole body. Last one, breathing out, coming back towards your warrior two. We're going to sweep that backhand up and over, swiveling on the left ball of the foot, taking the hands to the floor. From here, we're going to step back to plank. Just take yourself straight to downward facing dog, no chaturanga. We're going to work into the other side. So this time the left foot reaches away for three-legged dog. Holding here, feeling strong in the foundation for 2. And 1, squeezing that left knee this time in towards the chest. We're going to step it down in between our hands. We look back towards the right foot this time. Let that right heel fall to the left, so the foot's in line with the short edge of the mat. Breathing in, we rise up to our warrior two again, adjusting our feet or our foundation where we need to. Bending into that front knee, pushing away with the opposite foot, reaching with both fingers, turning to look at the middle finger of the front hand. Holding here for 3, for 2, and 1. Reverse the warrior, taking the back hand onto the back leg, reaching that front hand up to the sky. Holding here for 3, for 2, and 1. Again, taking the hands back towards warrior 2. Bending into that front arm, taking the elbow to the knee, reaching the top hand up and over. If you take full Parshvottanasana, you can reach a hand to the floor, otherwise following me. Even if you're leaning the elbow into the knee, try and keep most of the weight in your legs, so as light a touch as you can with the upper body for 3. Coming back to your breath, 2, and 1. Breathing in, sweeping the hands back towards your warrior 2. Let's take the pressure out that front knee. Breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, lowering down with your breath. Breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, lowering down. Breathing in, reaching up. Breathing out, lowering down. Holding here. Then we're going to windmill that back hand up and over, taking it down to the front of the mat. We're going to step that left foot back to plank. Take the hips high, downward facing dog. 1 more time on either side. Right leg reaches away for three-legged dog, maybe reaching a little higher for 2. And 1, pulling the knee in towards the belly and the chest, arching into the back, stepping that foot down in between your hands. From here, the left heel falls to the right, lifting yourself up towards your warrior 2, reaching the fingers away. So we're bending into that front knee, pushing down into the back foot, looking towards the middle finger for 3, 2, and 1. Reverse the warrior, back hand, back leg, front hand up towards the sky. Might feel a little compression into the lower back on the left side, stretching through the right for 2. And 1, bringing the hands back towards your warrior, taking it to Parshvottanasana, so either bending into the elbow to the knee, reaching the hand up and over, or taking it all the way to the floor. Wherever you are, imagine that stretch coming from the back foot all the way to the front fingers for 2. And 1, lifting back towards warrior 2. Breathing in, rising up. Breathing out, coming down. Breathing in. And out. Last 1, breathing in. And out. Sweeping the backhand up and over, windmilling it to the top of the mat to runner's lunge. From here, stepping back to plank, taking your hips all the way to downward facing dog. From here, last time, opposite side, left leg reaches out. Breathing in, pull that knee in towards the belly and the chest, stepping it forward, down in between your hands. This time, letting the right heel fall to the left, working into your foundation so that you can lift yourself up into Warrior Two, reaching the hands away. Sinking into that front knee or bending into the front knee, pushing down into the back foot, looking towards the middle fingers for 2 and 1. Reverse the warrior. Front hand reaches up, back hand comes down the back leg for 3, 2, 1. Coming back towards your Warrior Two. From here, Parshvottanasana of your choice, extended side angle. Again, feel the strength in the legs. Push down into the foundation. Try and make the upper body as light as possible for 3, 2, and 1. Sweeping the hands back towards your Warrior Two. As you breathe in, reach the hands up, straighten into the legs. As you breathe out, sinking down a little, breathing in and out and in. Last time, breathing out, sweeping that back hand up and over, coming towards runner's lunge. From runner's lunge, step into plank, taking the hips high, downward facing dog for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly bending into the knees, taking your knees down towards the floor. From here, we're going to come to child's pose. So let the feet go flat. Bringing your heels maybe down here, your hips down towards your heels. Knees can be a little wider. Toes can touch. Remember, if child's pose isn't that achievable for you, or it's uncomfortable, you can be a bit higher in a kind of heart opening or puppy pose. Otherwise, we're bringing the energy level down a little. Let the forehead and the forearms come to the floor if you can. Allow the weight of the body to fall between the legs. Let the breath or longer exhalations out through the mouth. For another 3, 2, and 1. And then from here, bringing yourself maybe up towards tabletop, breathing in. Maybe a slight sense of calm or softening into the body. From here, we're going to take ourselves back towards a comfortable seated position. So if you're using blocks or blankets for your bum, just grabbing them again, bringing yourself towards a seat. Can be a nice loose cross leg or half lotus or easy pose, whatever works for you. Trying to feel the sit bones nice and long through the spine. Bringing your hands either to your lap, to the knees. Palms can face up, palms can face down. Whatever's comfortable for you to allow you to just sit for a moment or two. So you can close your eyes if you wish, or if it feels safe to do so. Just bringing your attention back to the same breath that we started our practice with. Just noticing that subtle rise and fall of the belly, maybe the chest. Again, creating a sense of overall or all body feeling. Bringing your attention to the whole of the body. Noticing if there's any difference. Just taking a moment with yourself. And we're going to finish our practice today with 3 dragon breaths. So I'll show you what that looks like. So slowly opening your eyes. We're going to breathe in and reach our hands up, fingers open nice and wide. And then we're going to breathe out really quickly, kind of like we're grabbing the air and bringing it down. Breathing in, reaching up. 2 more. Last one. And then just bringing your hands into prayer if it's in your practice to do so. Closing your eyes. Maybe a tingling sensation in your chest. And then just giving yourself some love and giving yourself thanks for joining the practice. And as always, thank you for sharing your morning with me. I hope to see you again soon. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of the day, wherever you are in the country or the world. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.